Alright guys, our only goal for today is to redo this industrial area. Well, actually that's a bit of a lie. We actually do need to add our first hotel as well because I've decided to do that. Anyway, first things first, we're gonna remove everything out here, destroy all the roads, all the pathways. Probably should not have destroyed that part of the road, but that is alright. And you're probably wondering, like, Scorpion, you said you're doing the industry. What are you doing building a walkway who knows where? Believe me, there is a reason. I've already planned what I'm going to be doing in this middle section here between the industrial and the residential areas. So, we do need this walkway here. It is essential to what I'm going to be doing in the episodes that are yet to come. But for right now, we're just going to do this little pathway and that's it. And then obviously we need to find the middle of this road between the two pathways. Well, actually 4 pathways, but whatever. Who's counting, really? We're going to make them into 2 pathways anyway. And I did not really like how that was looking, but I decided, you know what, for now we're gonna leave it as is. And then as you can see, there were no supports, so it looks kind of weird, so I had to improvise a little bit and add a support in there just so it looks semi-realistic. And here we go, starting to work on this beautiful industrial area. Well, that's gonna be a beautiful industrial area. For now, you'll have to take my word for it. And as I said, did not really like that pathway there. Way too many pathways, but there's always a solution. There's always a solution. And just adding this little thing out here. Unfortunately, I did decide to do a very stupid thing. I decided to actually check for the incline. Bad idea. Bad idea. I'll have to work on it at some point, but for right now, I'm just trying to get a pathway out here. But yeah, it was ridiculous. It looked horrible, so I decided just to redo it for now. Obviously, we're gonna come back to that at some point because I do want to make sure that the incline is realistic. I don't want these guys going like at a 20% incline. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And that's what I currently have. Anyway, I decided to start with our water waste system. And knowing myself, at some point we will have to add more of these water treatment plants. And so I decided, why wait? Why would we wait? So I built 3 of them in total. Well, I built actually 2 new ones. I already had 1, so here we go. Now we got 3. And I decided to make them face the other way just because I didn't want to have much traffic out here on this side. People get stuck behind each other as it is, so a little help here and there would be appreciated. And I'm not planning on having anybody go out there. Probably going to be putting a bunch of trees out here just to hide this area a little bit, but nothing more than that. And the parking lot was kind of necessary here because I don't want these guys to be parking on this dirt road. I will be making all of these roads non-parkable, I guess. I know it's not a word, but we're gonna say that it's a word. But that's gonna be at some future point. Not right now. Right now we got bigger fish to fry as it is. And now here comes the meat of this build. We are gonna be building our generic industry in this quadrant here. And as some of you know, my love for squares, nothing changed, still have it. But we're gonna be making it like as usual, semi-circular, semi-squarish looking. just because I like how it looks. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I had a hard time picking what I really wanted out here, so I decided, you know what, it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna be building a few different factories out here anyway, probably a couple of sweatshops as well, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And as you can see, sometimes I did have a lot of trouble here, trying to place some buildings here or there. It's not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes. I know it looks easy to do, but believe me, sometimes you just gotta be playing around quite a bit. And adding a couple of pathways out here as well, just for ease of access, I suppose, just so people can get around a little bit easier, park a little bit further, whatnot, just so they're not getting in the middle of the traffic. And there you go, adding a couple of sweatshops here. Had a little bit of a hard time from time to time, just picking out what I really wanted to fit in there to look good. But eventually we got what we wanted, and also added a couple of pathways as well. Had a very hard time with this one out here though. I was playing around with it for a while, but then I decided, you know what, not even worth it, because I don't really care that much about it, so dropped it. I decided to add a couple of big factories on this side of town, but a little bit of parking was necessary, and I decided to actually go with this big looking parking lot, just because I didn't want to be building too many of these parking lots out here. Unfortunately, there wasn't that much space, so I had to destroy some of those factories to fit this bad boy in there, but eventually I did, and it was absolutely beautiful. Now everybody should have enough space for parking. And I think that's very important for these guys. And a couple of smaller guys out there as well. And here comes your favorite part, guys. Adding a couple more fences all around. That's a very boring process, guys. It's a very boring process. But, I guess these guys do need some protection from cars. It would be quite, painful to watch. Some of these guys going to work, and on the way to work, they just kinda get run over by a car. That would be kinda sad. So, I'm trying to protect them, even if it's just a little bit. Even if it's just visual. I'm not really sure how strong this fence is. For all I care, it's made out of paper, and looking at the price tag on it, probably is. It's not that expensive to make, it's very cheap, so I would say it's not great quality. And also around the rail line out here. And I know some of you guys thinking, Scorpion, you said you're gonna be adding a loading dock here. And I will, eventually, not anytime soon. Just because I need to have, I can't remember, is it 7,000 population in order for that to get unlocked? So we still have a lot of time, and we'll cross that bridge once we get there. But for today, we're just gonna be adding this little fence out there, so guys don't actually run after a train, or a little bit before the train. That would be quite sad if they did try to race with a rain on the rail tracks. I have no idea what I'm talking about, guys. Okay, anyway, adding trees and some bushes, making this area look a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, just for the simple fact that the ground here is polluted, and that's actually very hard to pick a tree that's not going to be dead. As you can see, the color here for these trees is absolutely horrible. Unfortunately, I did not have any great ideas at the time of actually recording this. I had a lot of problems trying to figure out what I want to add there. Alright, I'm back. I'm not really sure what I was talking about before. My son just kind of barged into my room. He only recently learned how to walk upright, and now he can actually reach the door handle. So that was a fun incursion. I think I was talking about some trees here, though. Yeah, so that was kind of hard to pick out with the tree, and I eventually have given up. That's all I was trying to say. And here we go. We're adding a couple more props here just to make this area look a little bit more realistic. And adding a couple of more factories out here before the train line. It looks good. It looks good. The people need the workspace, and so I have given that to them. And also we need a small area, well, maybe, well, actually not that small, for the garbage disposal. And a couple of more factories out here just for the fun of it. Also, they did need a fire station out here because, as you can see, my other fire station cannot really reach them, and so I had to destroy a couple of smaller factories just to fit that guy in there, and also a police station. But then I was like, by the garbage disposal thing probably does not look too great out there, so I decided to move it a little in the opposite direction. And just filled it in with some cement all around, just so the ground does not look polluted as much. It still looks polluted in some spaces, as you can see here, just south of these water treatment plants. It does look polluted there, but if I can manage to make it look less polluted pretty much everywhere else in this sector, I think we're gonna be all set. That's pretty much it. But I had to remove some of that just because it doesn't look good on the roads here, especially these dirt roads. It looks kind of bad, actually, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And also, it makes no sense why the trees are gonna be on cement, so had to work around that a little bit, and eventually made it look decent. And I had a great idea of adding a water pump to the city just because, you know, I've already added so many water treatment plants. It only makes sense that I add this guy as well, because I have only a water tower, and that's not going to be helping me out for too long. I will need a lot more water, so it only made sense. And then this area out here looked kind of bare, and I was thinking what to do out here. Eventually, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to be adding a couple of commercial zones out there. It kind of makes sense, you know, just so these guys don't have to run away too far to grab some food during their lunch break. I decided to bring lunch to them. And just to make sure that people actually can get to work a little bit easier so there is less traffic, I decided to finish off these beautiful walkways. Unfortunately, I made a stupid mistake here by moving that one, so I had to redo that and just move the small piece out here. And connecting everything here so people can get across a lot easier, as you can see, from one walkway to another, just so they don't have to make this whole huge circle of life here just to get to the other side. And I was deciding what else to build out here. Unfortunately, there wasn't too much else I could do out there, so I decided to plant a couple of more trees just to cover up some of these bald spots that I have. And I was looking around just trying to pick a tree that would look good with everything else, and eventually I did find it. And there you go, just adding it all over the place, just so it looks like it's in the middle of something, as with our town. Not in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of somewhere. And our first hotel, guys, our first hotel. Maybe it's not the best spot for it, but it is a spot for it. And just a little work here in this area. It's nothing major. We probably will come back to that area eventually, but not anytime soon. I just put it in there for the heck of it. And then one of the guys asked me actually to add a pool in their name in this city, so here we go. My promise is complete. I promised I will, so I did. But this area here still look kind of bare, and as I said, doesn't make any sense that the trees are growing in the middle of cement, so I had to go around, remove some of that a little bit to make it look more realistic. And also we are going to be adding some decals here, so the road looks like it's been damaged out here, just because it is an industrial area. If anybody of you have seen an industrial area that looks perfect, probably because it hasn't opened yet. You give it a month after it's opened, it's gonna be trashed. At least that's what I've seen. If you guys seen otherwise, let me know in the comments where, and I will be sure to dispute that. But anyway, adding a bunch of decals here that make the roads look like they've been damaged. Sometimes it was a little bit tough to find a space to actually put them, but after a while, I managed to do that. And that was the end of me building this industrial sector. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Scorpion out.